Psychology of insecurity and low self-esteem. Now, when we are talking about the psychology of insecurity and low self-esteem, why we are talking about it is because when we do a business as we have repeatedly told you, it's not just about the entity in itself, it's about you, it's about your life, it's about your living. And insecurity is a very common trait which is present, okay, in everybody. It's like we say the root chakra. If you know chakras, the first chakra, that's the root chakra. If it is in imbalance, it is generally insecurity is the feeling that you will get. And now also, let's why just go too far, let's look at the COVID situation. We are all in very insecure times. Why? Because we don't know what will happen tomorrow. Like one of my building people, like she called me up today and she's telling me that, you know what, 2 days back my friend just collapsed and passed away, and we were supposed to plan, and after the lockdown we were supposed to meet and go for a coffee. And she was shocked. She's like, 2 days I couldn't get over this. I really wonder what happened. So these are very uncertain times we are in, okay? But we are aware. It's not that we are just moving with our eyes closed and ears shut. But what I'm trying to say is the kind of times that we are in, we don't know what is going to happen. So insecurity is a very common trait and it can crop up at any point in time. All you have to do, and why we brought this topic, is to make you more aware that if it is coming up for you, you need to be aware of it and correct it as soon as possible. Because if it creeps into any relationship, whether it is a business relationship, whether it is the client and the company, or anywhere, it is going to spoil those relationships. Okay, so let's look at some of the factors which influence insecurity and low self-esteem. Genetics. Now, what is genetics? Genetics is something that we are born with, our makeup, the internal makeup of our DNA, the structure and everything, right from the color of our hair to everything is our genetics. Okay? ये हमारे जो genetics होते हैं, I forgot, even Veena is there ना, थोड़ा मैं हिंदी में भी बोलूँगी. So genetics जो होता है, this is like there are some people, okay, who have a very high sense of, like, you know, their response to say external stimuli, any kind of threat. If I have to tell you again, I'll give you the example of the COVID. The COVID began somewhere, I think, during end of Feb, we started getting to know, and during March, the lockdown started happening. Okay. So for those people who were, everybody have a fixed agenda. Okay, we are going like this. Mera job aise ja raha hai. I'm going to go now. Next, I'm going to do this. We all we had planned our lives. Okay. Suddenly, we are thrown off guard. So how genetics plays a role? There were some people who were able to cope with it, and they have adapted themselves and they have moved ahead. Whereas there are others who got stuck and have created maybe some health issues or some kind of issues. So sometimes genetics actually play a very vital role in how, you know, if you have heard that there are some children who are light sleepers, they get in, or there are people also who are light sleepers. उन्हें थोड़ा सा भी आवाज आ गया तो they wake up immediately, startled and afraid. So that is what I'm talking, the response to the external stimuli. That's your genetics. So some people are just born with that, you know, immediate reaction or panic or insecurity. So they have to be aware if it is genetic. Also be aware of it. Okay. Now, environmental stressors. When we talk about environmental stressors, they are the kind of stresses that we have faced right from the time we were little, okay, up to now. So externally, that is outside our environment, because psychology always talks about nature, which is the genetics, and the nurture, which is the environment. So here we are talking about the second point, which is the environmental stressors. Now, the environmental stressors are those stressors which come in when, say, for example, there must be some tragedy that happened to you when you were a child, okay? Maybe you lost your loved one. That becomes your environmental stressor. At that point, if you were 6-year-old, you didn't know how to handle it. Now, if the person who is your primary caretaker is nurturing, caring, loving, you might be able to cope with it and move on, okay? But if that person is themselves stressed, then themselves in a panic, themselves in the trauma, you will also go through the trauma, and the trauma might just stick to you. So those are the environmental stressors, which also, these baggages are something that we carry and we bring it into our life, into our living, and even into our business. And that is why when we do any kind of session, we always take a history right from the beginning up to the point that the client is, so that we get what is the factor that is creating the issue for the client. Okay. Now, fear of disappointing others. This is yet another thing where we as people try to be nice people. We want to be good to everybody. But is that really, really possible? Okay. We have a fear that what if we might get rejected from this particular community or group because we have a difference of opinion. And in doing that and pleasing other people, we are shutting our own awareness and also our own needs and requirements and what we have to bring into that relationship. So when we operate from that, we become insecure because your needs are definitely not met. You're just saying a yes to everything that's being put on your table. So that is what fear of disappointing others is, and it can be terrorizing as well. So be aware of this part also. Second, the next one, sorry, is conflict aversion. Now, what is conflict aversion? If you have known, there are some category of people who will generally avoid conflicts. Okay, they will make, I mean, maybe it's the makeup or the way they are. They could be, we call them in the terms of escapist. They are such excellent at escaping from any situation, they would just disappear and you would not know. And these kind of people exist in families, they exist in businesses, they are a personality, okay, in itself. And it's very fascinating to see that suddenly we are a group and we are all having fun in the family, okay, and suddenly that person has disappeared and nobody knows when and how. So these are the people who generally try to avoid, they are like, you know, they generally try to avoid confrontation. They generally try to avoid getting into, like, you know, that avoidance is the main thing for the people who are into conflict aversion. And when you do that, again, you're killing a part of you because you are not listening to that which is required of you. You will definitely not be happy because all those thoughts will again come like anxiety in your head, and it will just keep playing like a recording, and you will be operating your life from there. That doesn't mean that I'm telling you all to get into conflicts and try to prove a point and all. There's always a way how to get your point across, but I'm talking about this kind of personalities. Now, dependency. When you feel that you are dependent on your partner, okay, for whatever. Now I'm talking about relationship. It could be relationship in business or otherwise also. If the dependency is so high, especially for women who are not working, who are completely, like, you know, dependent on their spouse, or it really applies to them that, say for example, they have this, like, you know, there's something within them which is at point like, there are many families, I won't take any community names, but there are communities where the women are supposed to do only the cooking and the men are supposed to go out and, like, you know, fend and do the business or whatever they do. So at that point, these women at a point can become insecure when their needs are not being met and they feel that they are dispensable also. It's like, nahi chahiye to you can be put at the side also. So that insecurity starts playing inside of them. They may not show you externally, but it's there. And then unfortunately they get into probably, you know, that unknown, like all these relationships and all. So that is one possibility. I'm saying it can go in any way. Okay. Broken trust. Now when we talk about broken trust is when you know that, now again I'll come back to this, whether it is between two, in a business also, if somebody, like if you're two partners and one person without informing you goes and builds an alliance with somebody, so there's a broken trust there. Obviously it will be very difficult for you to trust that particular person again, because we know that it takes a lot for us to build that trust, whether it is even in a personal relationship. The trust is something that's a natural factor. And when that gets broken, say for example, the husband or the wife gets into any relationship externally, the trust is broken and that can bring in insecurity.